A soft window come rest slightly on my eyes, warm and still where morning lies. The sunlight finds the curtains in a slow and glowing line, a quiet early shimmer soft enough to feel like mine. My palms wrap round the mug, still warm from first day brew, letting little pieces of the night drift calmly through. She walks along the blanket with a delicate little stride, following the brightness where the gentlest shadows hide. And with this whispered start of day, my restless thoughts all drift away. A soft window calm opens in my view, tinting every moment in a gentle muted hue. Nothing needs an answer, nothing to pursue, just early quiet coming through. A folded bit of paper holds a line I tried to write, something half remembered in the edges of the night. The curtain lifts a moment with a soft inviting breeze, a tender little motion from the hush between the trees. She settles by my elbow with her fur against my sleeve, a slow and steady comfort in the calm I never leave. And as the soft reflections grow, I breathe the morning flow. A soft window calm opens in my view, tinting every moment in a gentle muted hue. Nothing needs an answer, nothing to pursue, just early quiet coming through. A soft window calm spreads gently through the room, fading out the remnants of the fragile midnight gloom. And as the day unfolds, nothing feels askew, just quiet warmth, slow and true.
The quiet rise of day leans gently into view, soft and bright, colored in blue. The sun paints slow reflections on the surface of my chair, a drifting band of brightness moving quietly through the air. My fingers warm the handle of a mug I left to steam, letting gentle comfort stir the edges of a dream. He steps across the carpet with a slow exploring stride, following the faint glow where the softened shadows hide. And as the colors start to slide, I feel the calm inside. The quiet rise of day falls softly in the room, shaping gentle outlines through the thinning edge of gloom. the breeze that glides along, a silent kind of motion like the first note of a song. He circles near my ankle with a lightly padded rest, his breathing like a whisper settling evenly in my chest. And when the muted shadows clear, the morning drifts near. The quiet rise of day folds softly in the room, shaping gentle outlines through the thinning edge of gloom. Nothing weighs upon me, nothing left to assume, just early calm in subtle bloom. The quiet rise of day widens through the air, leaving traces of a warmth the night forgot to spare. And as the silence shifts, everything feels fair, just morning's ease everywhere. A fading ember dawn leans softly on my view, warm and slow, drifting through. The sunlight bends across the corner of my quiet waking room, a soft and steady glimmer breaking gently from the gloom. The cup I left half steaming carries warmth I still can feel, a silent little promise that the morning keeps so real. He steps along the hallway with a low and rhythmic turn, following the brightness like a flame he wants to learn. And as the calm begins to rise, it softens all my tired sides. A fading amber dawn settles into place, painting muted colors with a warm and tender grace. Nothing holds a question, nothing to replace, just early calm filling up the space. A journal page lies waiting with a thought from yesterday, a half-erased reflection in a slow and drifting way. The curtain shifts a little with the passing of a breeze, letting in the whisper of the softest rustling trees. He curls beside my ankle with a steady breathing flow, his presence like a weight that only comfort seems to know. And when the muted colors show, I feel the morning glow. A fading amber dawn settles into place, painting muted colors with a warm and tender grace. Nothing holds a question, nothing to replace, just early calm filling up the space. Lines of early calm settle on our day, soft and bright, drifting away.
A thin strand of sunshine slips along the folded sheet, a quiet golden ribbon finding warmth beneath my feet. I breathe a gentle stillness as the start to glide, a pale and tender shimmer blooming softly rolls upon the cushion with a tiny steady beat, marking every moment with her quiet padded feet.
Your voice moves lightly through the edges of the dawn, a soft familiar warmth that I keep leaning on.
I shift a little closer as the daylight finds its tone, a hush that tells the morning we don't wake up alone. He circles near the curtain with a careful, quiet gaze, filling early shadows with his calm and simple ways. And in the tender waking light, the day begins to feel just right. Lines of early calm widen through the room, blending gentle colors with the thinning edge of gloom. Nothing feels too heavy, nothing to resume, just quiet tones and morning bloom. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Lies open with a soft unfinished line,
A drifting little promise from a moment nearly mine.
a small reminder lingers as the shadows start to clear,
A warmth that tells the morning everything is near. The soft reflection guides our way toward the start of day. Lines of early calm widen through the room, blending gentle colors with the thinning edge of gloom. Nothing feels too heavy, nothing to resume, just quiet tones and morning.
still morning trace settles in my chest, deep and warm, letting me rest. The sunlight crawls in slowly down the edge of faded wood, a quiet early gesture saying everything is good. The cup beside my notebook leaves a pale and warm ring, a tiny mark of comfort from a gentle morning fling. He crosses through the hallway with a slow and thoughtful gaze, choosing where to settle in the soft and muted haze. And in this calm that starts to rise, the world grows softer to my eyes. A still morning trace folds quietly in place, shaping tender silence with its gentle little grace. Nothing here is urgent, nothing to chase, just warm calm settling through the space. Slowly drifting thread, a line of fading silver that the morning lightly spread. The curtain moves a moment with the flicker of a breeze, a whispered kind of motion that the quiet always frees. He settles by my elbow with a careful constant breath, a deep and steady presence in the morning's growing depth. And when the muted shadows pass, I feel a calmness, a still morning trace folds quietly in place, shaping tender silence with its gentle little grace. Nothing here is urgent, nothing to chase, just warm calm settling through space.
The warm shape of day leans softly into view, calm and full, tender and true. The brightness spreads in layers on the edge of folded cloth, a quiet early message that the day will not come forth in wrath. I hold my cup with fingers curled around the fading heat, a low and steady comfort in the rhythm of my seat. She settles on the armrest with a tiny patient stare, watching distant sunlight gather slowly in the air. And with the morning's steady flow, I feel the gentler undertow. The warm shape of day fills slightly through the room, softening the shadows with a slowly lifting gloom. Nothing needs deciding, nothing left to assume, just quiet hours easing gloom. A page of half-drawn sketches lies beside my rested hand, a fading piece in memory I barely understand. The curtain moves a little with the whisper of a breeze, a soft and fleeting gesture that the quiet morning frees. She curls beside my elbow with a warm and settled breath, a fragile kind of comfort deeper than the rest. And as the colors start to glide, I breathe the calm inside. The warm shape of day fills slightly through the room, softening the shadows with a slowly lifting gloom. Nothing needs deciding, nothing left to assume, just quiet hours easing gloom.
A silent drift of light touches down on me, warm and slow, peacefully. The morning spreads a soft glow on the wooden tabletop, a gentle rolling brightness that refuses now to stop. The cup beside my notebook holds a fading heat inside, a steady trace of comfort where my quiet thoughts reside. He walks along the hallway with a patient measured pace, choosing where to linger in the early waking space. And as the hush begins to rise, I see the day in softer eyes. A silent drift of light rests lightly in the room, painting subtle colors through the gently lifting gloom. Nothing waits behind me, nothing left to resume, just morning's calm and simple bloom. Scrap of paper has a line I meant to keep, a drifting little memory from the borderland of sleep. The window catches brightness from a cloud that drifts along, a quiet kind of motion, humming faintly like a song. He circles by the curtain with a low and steady breath, a living little warmth in the morning's growing depth. And as the shadows lose their form, I feel the daylight warm. A silent drift of light rests lightly in the room, painting subtle colors through the gently lifting gloom. Nothing waits behind me, nothing left to resume, just morning's calm and simple bloom.
A gentle fold of light leans slowly on the floor, worn and faint, asking nothing more. The morning gathers softly on the edge of knitted cloth, a muted line of brightness brushing lightly back and forth. My hands surround the mug still deep with lingering heat, a patient warmth that settles where my quiet thoughts retreat. She moves a little closer with a slow, attentive stare, marking early stillness in the cool and drifting air. And in this ease that fills my chest, I breathe a little rest. A gentle fold of light widens in the room, softening the silence into softly rising bloom. Nothing feels uncertain, nothing left to loom, just morning's touch, dispelling gloom. The page inside my journal shows a note I meant to hold. I thought I left unfinished when the dawn was growing cold. The curtain sways so lightly with a breeze that hardly stirs, a quiet little motion like a voice without the words. She curls beside my elbow with her warmth against my sleeve, a tiny living heartbeat in the morning, I believe. And when the tender colors rise, I see the day in gentler eyes. A gentle fold of light widens in the room, softening the silence into softly rising bloom. Nothing feels uncertain, nothing left to loom, just morning's touch, dispelling gloom.
Calm horizon line rests softly in my sight, warm and sure, lifting up the light. The sunlight finds the edges of the neatly folded sheet, a slow and glowing shimmer pulling comfort to my feet. The cup beside my journal leaves a ring of simple heat, a quiet piece of morning that the night cannot defeat. He drifts across the living room with slow and thoughtful grace, choosing where to linger in the early waking space. And as the gentle colors rise, I feel the calm behind my eyes. A calm horizon line widens through the room, softening the shadows with a warm and settled bloom. Nothing waits behind me, nothing left to resume, just more folded paper holds a thought from yesterday. Something almost spoken, drifting quietly my way. The curtain sways in rhythm with a faint and shifting breeze. A soft and fleeting moment, only tender hours sees. He settles near the armrest with a deep and steady breath. A small and living comfort in the morning's gentle depth. And when the muted colors play, I feel the start of day. A calm horizon line widens through the room, softening the shadows with a warm and settled bloom. Nothing waits behind me, nothing left to resume. Just morning's hush, replacing shared early hues drip softly through the light, warm and faint, starting the day.
A band of gentle brightness slips along the folded sheet. A soft familiar shimmer brushing lightly at my feet. I breathe a quiet moment as the colors start to climb. A tender early rhythm finding shape in morning time.
She settles on the cushion with a silent padded sound, filling little corners where the golden rays are found.
Your voice moves softly with the hush the daylight keeps.
A warm familiar echo rising.
From the night's retreat,
I shift beside the blankets as the calm begins to spread.
feeling early warmth replace the shadows in my head.
He drifts along the hallway with a slow and gentle pace.
Choosing where to linger in the softly waking space.
And in this woven breath of dawn, all the quiet cares are gone.
Shared early hues settle in the room, softening the silence in a slowly lifting bloom. Nothing needs explaining, nothing left to groom. Just morning's light removing gloom.
A page inside my notebook holds a line I never said.
A drifting little moment resting lightly in my head.
I watch the growing brightness rest on everything it sees.
A tender kind of promise carried gently on the breeze. And as the muted shadows part, we feel the day restart. Shared early hues settle in the room, softening the silence in a slowly lifting bloom. Nothing needs explaining, nothing
Dawn line between us draws softly through the air, pale and warm, drifting everywhere.
The light climbs slowly upward on the edge of folded cloth. A quiet early shimmer brushing gently back and forward. My hands wrapped round the mug still warm from morning brew, letting all the gentle calm me slowly into view. She circles near my pillow with a tiny measured pace, marking where the hush of dawn begins to take its place. Your voice moves like the brightness resting lightly on the floor, a subtle kind of comfort I keep reaching for.
The quiet shapes the corners with a low awakening glow, a patient little moment only early hours know. He settles near my slipper with a soft and careful turn. Listen to the morning as the colors start to burn. And in this glow that starts to rise, we meet the day with softer eyes. Dawn lines between us widen through the room, pulling gentle colors from the fading edge of gloom. Nothing feels uncertain, nothing to resume, just morning's breath in subtle bloom. A scribble in my journal holds a thought from yesterday, a fragile little echo that the dawn can wash away. I watch the shifting brightness touch the window's resting frame, a silent little promise whispering my name. And as the muted shadows clear, the morning settles near. Dawn lines between us widen through the room, pulling gentle colors from the fading edge of gloom. Nothing feels uncertain, nothing to resume, just morning's breath in subtle bloom. The quiet folds around us in a single warming thread, a drifting note of comfort where the night has softly fled. Dawn lines between us shape gently into day, coloring the silence in a soft and steady way. And as the light grows deeper, nothing drifts astray, just tender calm, here to stay. The morning drifted near in a quiet thread of gold, soft and warm, gently taking hold. The sunlight gathers slowly on the edge of woven cloth, a pale and fading shimmer sliding gently back and forth. My hand rests on the mug still warm from early brew, a simple little comfort pulling memories into view. He paces by the window with a slow attentive stride, watching morning colors brush the quiet room inside. And in this to say. Just slow, calm, guiding me its way. A folded scrap of paper holds a line from last night's thought. Something half remembered that the morning never caught. The curtain moves so lightly with the breath of passing wind. A soundless, subtle rhythm only early hours send. He settles near my ankle with a steady, quiet breath. A tiny grounding presence in the morning's gentle death. And when the muted shadows fade, I feel the calm they made. The morning drifted near, resting softly in the day, coloring the silence in a warm and tender way. Nothing needs an answer, nothing left to say. Just slow, calm, guiding me its way. The morning drifted near, shaping daylight's tone, filling every silence with a piece I call my own. And as the colors widen, nothing feels unknown, just steady warmth, softly show. Morning near me, quiet and clear. A quiet frame of light leans gently on the day, clear and slow. Guiding my way. The early golden brightness falls across the wooden grain, a softened line of shimmer moving steady through my lane. My fingers wrap the handle of the cup still holding heat, a warm reminder drifting in a patient even beat. He moves across the carpet with a low and thoughtful gaze, choosing where to settle in the gentle morning haze. And as the calm begins to grow, I feel the daylight flow. A quiet frame of light rests softly in my sight, shaping subtle shadows in the fading edge of night. Nothing feels too heavy, nothing left to fight, just morning calm and tender light. Folded note beside me shows a thought I meant to keep, a drifting piece of memory from the fragile edge of sleep. The curtain sways in rhythm with a soft unhurried breeze, a whispered kind of motion from the silence in the tree. He curls beside my ankle with a deep and settled breath, a steady little anchor in the waking hour's depth. And when the muted colors rise, I see the day with clear eyes, a quiet frame of light shadows in the fading edge of night. Nothing feels too heavy, nothing left to fight, just morning calm and tender light. Echoes in early quiet drift softly through the air, warm and low, settling everywhere.
A thin and gentle brightness slips along the curtain line, a pale and easy shimmer drawing close to what is mine. My hands curl round the muck still warm with fading heat, a peaceful little gesture pulling calm into my seat. She circles by the pillow with her small attentive gaze, tracing little echoes in the morning softened haze.
Your voice moves like the sunlight bending slowly on the floor,
A quiet invitation I keep turning toward.
the colors find the
Doorway with the softly lifting glow, carrying the hush that it ain't only moments know. He settles by the windowsill with slow observing eyes, following the warmth the waking daylight softly ties. And in this gently shifting tone, we face the morning not alone. Echoes in early quiet widen through the room, painting gentle colors over remnants of the gloom. Nothing feels uncertain, nothing left to bloom, just softened dawn resuming soon. Scrap of paper has a thought I meant to say,
a tiny whispered memory from the edge of yesterday.
I watch the brightness linger in a slow and patient line, marking where the morning lets its gentleness align. And as the muted shadows fall, we hear the morning call.
Echoes in early quiet widen through the room, painting gentle colors over remnants of the gloom.
Nothing feels uncertain, nothing left to bloom, just softened dawn resuming soon.
Slow light settling moves softly down the wall, warm and thin, quiet overall. The sunlight bends in ribbons on the wooden window frame, a slow and steady whisper calling quietly by name. My hand surrounds the mug still warm from morning's brew, letting gentle comfort pools. He pads along the hallway with a slow unhurried stride, choosing where the softened shapes of early come reside. And as the shadows start to fade, I breathe the peace they made. Slow light settling falls gently keeps a thought from yesterday. A fragile little echo, only early hours sway. The curtain sways a moment with the softest passing wind. A quiet fleeting rhythm only morning seems to send. He circles near my ankle with a steady patient rest. A grounded piece of comfort warming lightly at my chest. And when the colors start to rise, I see the day with clearer eyes. Slow light settling folds gently through the room, painting muted colors on the thinning edge of gloom. Nothing needs deciding, nothing left to resume, just morning's hum and tender bloom. Slow light settling widens through the day, filling quiet spaces in a warm and tender way. And as the calm expands, nothing drifts astray, just gentle light here to stay. A breath of gentle dawn leans softly on my mind, clear and warm, easing what's behind. The first thin streak of sunlight falls across the faded floor, a whisper lifted lightly through the slowly waking door. My fingers hold the mug still, deep with fading heat. Steady morning comfort in a simple, peaceful beat. He moves along the shadow line with cautious little steps, listening as the silence slowly shifts where daylight crept. And in this hush that fills the room, the morning sheds its gloom. A breath of gentle dawn widens in my view, softening the edges with a pale and tender hue. Nothing feels uncertain, nothing left to do, just warm calm drifting through. A page marked from last evening holds a line I couldn't say, a fragile bit of memory waiting for the break of day. The curtain breathes so lightly with the softest passing breeze, a moment's quiet motion that the early hours sees. He settles near my ankle with a slow and steady sigh, a small and grounding presence in the waking of the sky. And when the calm begins to rise, I see the day in gentler eyes. A breath of gentle dawn widens in my view, softening the edges with a pale and tender hue. Nothing feels uncertain, nothing left to do, just warm calm drifting through. Gentle dawn settles in the day, guiding quiet moments in a smooth and certain way. And as the morning widens, nothing drifts astray, just tender dawn, here to stay. A slow horizon quiet leans gently on the day, deep and warm, guiding the way. The light spreads slow and steady on the surface of the chair, a muted early shimmer drawing softly through the air. My hands embrace the mug, still warm from morning brew, letting peaceful moments shape the colors coming through. He strolls along the hallway with a patient, steady gaze, choosing where to get in the softly waking haze. And as the silence starts to rise, I breathe the calming tides. A slow horizon quiet settles in my sight, painting subtle shadows with a warm and tender light. Nothing feels uncertain, nothing set to fight, just morning calm and soft delight. A folded page beside me holds a thought from yesterday, a drifting piece of memory. The morning pulls away, the curtain shifts a moment with a breeze that wanders through, a gentle little movement in a slowly brightening hue. He curls beside my ankle with a soft and silent rest, a living line of comfort warming lightly at my chest. And when the fading shadows clear, the morning draws near. A slow horizon quiet settles in my sight, painting subtle shadows with a warm and tender light. Nothing feels uncertain, nothing set to fight, just morning calm and soft delight. Last light between us drifted through the room, pale and low, easing every gloom. The sunlight falls in quiet lines along the window frame, a slow and gentle whisper softly calling out my name. My fingers wrap the morning cup, still warm against my hand. A fragile kind of comfort only early hours understand. She moves along the cushion,
with a soft, familiar grace. Tracing gentle patterns in the calm, awaking space. Your voice blends with the quiet like a warm and steady tone. A peaceful little echo I don't face alone. The brightness drifts across the floor in slow, unhurried bands. A tender early rhythm held delicately in our hands. He settles by the curtain with a low and thoughtful gaze, watching where the softening light begins to raise. And in this gentle rising glow, we let the quiet show. The last light between us opens through the air, falling into corners with a warmth we always share. Nothing feels uncertain, nothing left to bear, just morning calm settled there. Scribbled note from yesterday rests folded on my knee. A drifting piece of memory that morning sets free. I watch the growing brightness, stretching long and tender lines. A soft and steady moment where your quiet breath aligns. And as the muted shadows fade, a calm is gently made. The last light between us opens through the air, falling into corners with the warmth we always share. Nothing feels uncertain, nothing left to bear, just morning calm settled there. The early hush surrounds us like a slowly woven thread.
A silent kind of clarity in every word unsaid.
The last light between us widens into day, guiding every moment in a soft and steady way. And as the brightness deepens, nothing drifts astray, just gentle dawn, here to stay. Here to stay. Here with you. Here with